Hey folks, welcome to Quantum Mind Hub. Don't forget to share the video and your thoughts in the comments section, and before we dive into this beautiful story, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Jim had always been charming, but his secrets ran deep. One crisp evening he decided to take his mistress, Laura, to the town ball, expecting admiration from friends and whispers of scandal. The night promised excitement, bright lights, and risky choices. Laura wore a daring red dress, her smile bold and inviting. "This is our night," she whispered confidently. Jim nodded, his eyes darting around as if searching for trouble. Deep inside, he craved freedom and a break from routine. The ball would be the perfect stage for his hidden desires, even if danger lurked around every corner. Tonight beckoned. Susan, Jim's wife, had suspected something was off. Late that afternoon, while tidying the house, she found a note that hinted at Jim's betrayal. Her heart pounded with hurt and anger, but beneath that, determination began to grow. "I won't let him get away with this," she murmured to herself, clenching her fists. Susan decided to attend the ball herself, not to be outdone, but to plan a subtle yet clever comeback that would turn the tables entirely. She rehearsed her plan meticulously, vowing to expose Jim's deceit and reclaim her dignity before anyone noticed. Tonight, her resolve only strengthened. At the ball, music thumped and chatter filled the air. Jim entered with Laura, both appearing relaxed and confident. Their smiles masked secrets as they greeted familiar faces. "You look stunning tonight," Jim complimented softly to Laura while scanning the crowd. Nearby, guests whispered and laughed over clinking glasses. Unbeknownst to them, Susan arrived with quiet determination, blending in seamlessly. "I'm here to enjoy the night too," she said casually to a friend. The room buzzed with excitement and tension, setting the stage for unexpected confrontations. Every beat of the music echoed the promise of dramatic surprises yet to unfold. Backstage, Susan quietly observed from the shadows, her eyes fixed on Jim and Laura. She listened to their casual chatter, noting every subtle gesture. "He thinks he's untouchable," she muttered under her breath, a mixture of hurt and determination swirling inside her. A trusted friend, Marge, leaned in and whispered, "You deserve better, Susan." With a determined smile, Susan nodded. "Tonight, I'll show him that truth and honesty always win in the end." Her plan was simple yet bold, fueled by years of silent suffering and the promise of sweet retribution. Every moment built her courage for the coming battle. Jim strolled through the grand hall with a carefree smile, unaware of the brewing storm. He joked lightly with friends, his laughter echoing among the chandeliers. "Laura, tonight feels like magic," he said, as she returned a playful grin. But behind his calm exterior, anxiety lurked. Thoughts of his secret life nagged at him, and he wondered if things might soon unravel. "Maybe I've pushed my luck too far," he admitted quietly to himself. Despite the festive mood, a shadow of guilt crept in, mingling with the thrill of risky indulgence. Every beat of his heart warned him of consequences. Laura enjoyed the spotlight as she mingled with guests, her laughter lighting up the room. She felt free and unburdened, savoring every compliment and kind word. "I love moments like these," she told a curious onlooker with a wink. Yet beneath her cheerful demeanor, she sensed the tension swirling around Jim. She wondered if his eyes sometimes betrayed worry. "Maybe he's not as relaxed as he appears," she mused softly. Still, she embraced the thrill of the night, unaware that destiny had plans to twist the evening into unexpected turmoil. Her heart raced, quietly anticipating that life would soon change. At the dance floor, Susan watched intently as Jim and Laura moved together effortlessly. The music and swirling lights created a captivating backdrop for their secretive exchange. "Look at them go," remarked a nearby guest, not knowing the personal drama unfolding. Susan's eyes narrowed, a silent promise forming in her mind. "This isn't just about a dance, it's about truth finally coming to light," she whispered to herself. Every step they took on the floor only deepened the chasm between the world of pretense and genuine emotion, intensifying the drama of the night. Her resolve hardened as vengeance silently brewed. Later in the evening, Jim found himself in a quiet corner with a longtime friend named Mark. They talked over drinks as the music pulsed in the background. "You sure handled tonight well, Jim," Mark remarked with a knowing smile. Jim shrugged, a mix of pride and regret in his eyes. "It feels like I'm walking a tightrope," he admitted. The conversation shifted to whispered warnings and gentle advice. "Be careful, man. Secrets have a way of coming out," Mark cautioned sincerely. Jim listened, pondering the fragile balance between charm and dishonesty. The night deepened and worry quietly spread unexpectedly. Jim left the conversation feeling uneasy as he stepped back into the lively crowd. The ball's energy seemed to mask deeper troubles lurking beneath the surface. His thoughts circled around his choices and the inevitable consequences that might soon surface. Am I setting myself up for a fall? He wondered silently, glancing at the ornate ceiling and dancing couples. The blend of excitement and anxiety churned in his mind like a turbulent storm. He tried to shake off the unsettling feeling, but doubts kept creeping in, whispering warnings he could no longer ignore. Every heartbeat reminded him of looming reckoning. Susan moved through the ball with quiet confidence, every step deliberate. She approached her husband, her eyes steady and determined. "Jim, can we talk?" she asked softly, her voice calm yet charged with hidden strength. In that brief moment, the lively atmosphere seemed to pause. Jim's face paled as he met her gaze, realizing the gravity of the situation. I didn't expect this," he stammered. The tension between them grew thick and the surrounding chatter faded into background noise, marking the start of an unexpected confrontation that would change everything tonight. Silent promises of truth and justice filled the air. Jim's mind raced as he searched for words to defuse the rising tension. Standing before Susan, he felt exposed and vulnerable. "I can explain, Susan," he began hesitantly, his voice wavering. He tried to justify his actions with excuses that sounded weak even to his ears. "It wasn't meant to hurt you," he pleaded, though his tone betrayed uncertainty. Susan listened with a mixture of anger and sorrow, her eyes searching his for genuine remorse. "Words aren't enough anymore," she replied sharply, leaving no room for further excuses. The air thickened with raw emotion and unspoken truths. Silence filled gaps. Susan's eyes flashed with hurt as she absorbed Jim's feeble explanations. "You broke our trust, Jim," she said coldly, her voice steady and firm. The words cut deep, echoing her long-held pain. She refused to let his half-hearted justifications mend what was shattered. "I deserve honesty, not excuses," she insisted, her tone leaving no doubt about her resolve. Around them, the party continued unaware of the storm inside one couple. Every word exchanged between them amplified the gravity of their situation, marking a turning point that neither could ignore or easily overcome. Silence followed, heavy with the promise of change. After the heated exchange, Jim retreated to a quiet balcony overlooking the garden. Alone with his thoughts, he replayed every moment of the evening. Regret flooded him as he recognized the full weight of his mistakes. "I never meant to hurt Susan," he whispered into the cold night air, his voice barely audible. The cool breeze did little to calm the burning guilt inside him. He wondered if redemption was possible or if he had irreparably damaged the life he once cherished. In that silent solitude, the harsh truth became impossible to ignore. Every regret carved deep marks on him. Across the crowded room, Laura caught sight of Jim's troubled expression. The carefree mask had faded, replaced by visible remorse. She paused near a refreshment table, her curiosity piqued by the shift in his demeanor. "Something's not right," she confided to a nearby friend, concern evident in her tone. Though still enjoying the ball, a part of her wondered if the night's excitement was now marred by regret. The atmosphere felt charged with unspoken sorrow and emerging consequences. Laura's heart, once light and playful, now trembled with a mix of pity and wariness. Her mind churned with questions and worries. Marge, observing the unfolding drama, noticed Susan's quiet power as she navigated the tension. At one moment, Marge said softly, "You have a strength that outshines any betrayal." Susan's eyes held firm resolve, and even as hurt simmered beneath, her voice remained steady. "I'm done being played for a fool," she declared firmly. The words resonated with everyone nearby, echoing the sentiment of liberation. Marge nodded in agreement, silently affirming that sometimes the truth comes at a steep cost, but ultimately brings unexpected clarity and empowerment. In that moment, hope and strength intertwined, promising a brighter, honest future without compromise. As the night wore on, the ball's vibrant energy gradually shifted into an undercurrent of tension. Rumors spread like wildfire among the guests. Jim found himself confronted by fleeting glances and hushed whispers. "They're talking about us," he muttered, anxiety growing with each passing moment. Meanwhile, Susan maintained a calm exterior, though internally plans were taking shape. "This night is not over yet," she murmured resolutely, preparing for what was to come. Every conversation, every glance added fuel to the simmering fire of impending retribution and change. In whispered secrets, fate and justice slowly began to intertwine tonight with inevitability. Mark observed the shifting atmosphere as heated exchanges began among select guests. A man accused another of dishonesty in a hushed tone, while laughter turned to murmurs of disapproval. Mark shook his head, knowing well that secrets rarely stay hidden for long. "It's only a matter of time," he remarked to another onlooker, his voice tinged with concern. Meanwhile, Susan's eyes met Jim's in a silent challenge across the room. The energy in the hall crackled with impending reckoning, and everyone sensed that tonight would be remembered for revelations and unanticipated consequences. Every heartbeat echoed the truth soon unveiled inevitably. As the night deepened, the ball transformed into a stage for raw confrontation. Voices rose in a chorus of accusation and regret. Jim, cornered by his own lies, stood trembling amid the chaos. "I'm sorry, Susan," he blurted out, his voice cracking with desperation. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on the unraveling drama. The air was thick with judgment and sorrow. In that charged moment, the true cost of deceit became painfully clear to everyone present, marking a climax of emotions and a turning point that would reshape relationships forever. Every soul witnessed the breaking point unfold suddenly. In the aftermath of the explosive confrontation, the ballroom settled into a somber quiet. Jim stood alone, his heart heavy with regret and loss. Susan, standing tall amid the ruins of shattered trust, began to find her inner strength. "This is the end of an era," she murmured, yet there was hope in her tone. Conversations hushed and the guests slowly dispersed, each carrying the weight of what had occurred. Amid the wreckage of broken promises, a new resolve quietly emerged, hinting at future beginnings born from the ashes of betrayal. Every ending paved the path for unexpected renewal indeed. Jim wandered the empty corridors of the ballroom, seeking solace in solitude. The echoes of laughter and lively music had long faded, replaced by a quiet remorse. He recalled every misstep and felt the sting of betrayal not only from Susan but from his own conscience. "I must change," he whispered to himself, determined to right his wrongs. Each step was heavy with the burden of regret, yet also carried a faint spark of hope. In that reflective moment, Jim resolved to rebuild his life, one honest day at a time, however challenging the journey ahead might be. With determination. Alone now, Susan walked the quiet halls of her home, reflecting on the tumultuous night. The confrontation had left scars, yet also a surprising sense of freedom. She sat by the window, watching the dawn break and feeling a new beginning stirring inside her. "I deserve to live without lies," she said softly to herself, embracing the truth of her worth. The pain of betrayal was slowly healing, replaced by a fierce resolve to reclaim her life. Every memory, even the painful ones, became a lesson in strength and self-respect. Hope and courage now lit her path forward with grace. At a quiet cafe the next morning, fate intervened unexpectedly. Jim and Susan crossed paths, their eyes meeting with a mix of regret and quiet understanding. "We need to talk," Jim said cautiously, his tone laced with remorse. Susan nodded, her expression unreadable yet calm. In that brief encounter, years of silence and sorrow melted into a tentative dialogue. They exchanged few words, but each carried the weight of the past and the hope for a better future. The meeting was awkward, painful, and strangely liberating all at once. Both silently promised themselves to rebuild trust with time ever forward. In the quiet after their unexpected meeting, Susan and Jim sat in separate corners of the cafe, each lost in thought. The encounter had unsettled old wounds while opening the door to potential forgiveness. Jim scribbled notes on a napkin, words of apology and promises of change, determined to earn back the trust he had shattered. Across the room, Susan stared into her coffee, reflecting on her own need to heal and grow. "Maybe this is a chance to start over," she whispered to herself. The weight of regret and hope mingled, forging a fragile new beginning. Hearts slowly mending. In the days following the ball, both Susan and Jim embarked on separate journeys toward healing. Jim sought professional help, determined to confront his flaws and rebuild his character. Susan surrounded herself with supportive friends and focused on rediscovering her passions. "I am more than this heartbreak," she affirmed during quiet moments of reflection. Their lives, once intertwined by deceit, now took different paths. Yet the lessons of that fateful night remained clear. Each step toward recovery was hard-earned, a testament to resilience and the belief that even shattered hearts can find a way to mend. Hope grew stronger daily. Years later, Susan and Jim met again at a local community event, both transformed by time and healing. The past, once a painful reminder of betrayal, had softened into distant memory. They exchanged a respectful nod and a brief, sincere conversation that acknowledged old wounds and mutual growth. "I've learned from my mistakes," Jim admitted, his tone humble and reflective. Susan smiled warmly, replying, "We both have changed for the better." In that quiet moment, forgiveness and understanding filled the space between them, proving that even the deepest scars can eventually fade. Hope and redemption shone brightly that evening truly.